Okay.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. I am happy to have you joining us for our day two, the aquatic side of our APIP roundtable meetings. While it is cold and chilly and snowy up here in the Adirondacks, as far as it seems away on these February chilly days, the sun will come back out, the snow will melt away, and we'll get back into the real busy part of our field season. And so this is an opportunity to bring everybody together, share some upcoming ideas and things for the 2025 field season, and just kind of hear what everybody is planning for this year. So it is a great opportunity. I'm glad there are so many people here, no matter what your name is. Yeah, so if you look around us right now, we have this beautiful winter snow blanket. I'm a big Nordic skier, so this has just been a fantastic year to get out and explore this beautiful snowy landscape. But, some people, even me, someone who loves the snow and the cold and winter, you do kind of start to get like a little squirrely, and you do start to think about like warmer days and things ahead of you. Here in Saranac Lake, we have our winter carnival for all of our craziness, and we APIP are jumping on that bandwagon. The Ice Palace is in Saranac Lake, right by the boat launch, and you can go out and if you walk around it, you will see that there is frozen milfoil inside the walls that they take out of Lake Flower. We have both variable leaf and Eurasian water milfoil in there. So we started a challenge. You can go out and search the Saranac Lake Ice Palace and tell us how many you find around there. Take a photo, send it to us, and we'll give you a prize. The Ice Palace is still up. It's been so cold that they're going to keep it up as long as they can. So if you didn't get to do this during Carnival, you can still come out and do it now. So a fun way to think about our aquatic plants. They're still with us. They're just kind of quiet and dormant this part of the season.
And Brian, you should mention for safety, always wear your bike helmet in the ice palace because those walls are very hard, right?
That's right. I biked down and Sean got the photo of me in my helmet. So good safety precautions. PPE always comes first. Yeah, so here is our breakdown today. We will go through and do a welcome of everybody and some quick introductions of everyone on the call. We'll then have some of our public agency partners give some updates of things that they are working on and that'll be coming up. And then we'll have a section where anybody is able to kind of share or ask questions or things that they are going through. And then we'll have a quick wrap up and adjournment. We will send out this video and some links that with it, so you'll have a chance to read over or see these materials again. So don't feel like you have to rush to write anything down. And as always, you can contact anybody at the Adirondack Park Invasive Plant Program or visit our website, adkinvasives.com, and we have a wealth of information there. So here is what we will do for just to go around the virtual room and give quick 30-second introductions. You can say your name, you can give your organization and or where you're calling in from, and then say one thing you are looking forward to in 2025. And fortunately, I wrote down the names of all the people who had registered on here, so this will make it a little bit easier than trying to go through the 25 Sean Kittles we have on here. So if we have we'll start off with Bob Bombard if he is on. And if Bob is not on, we'll go to Noel. Oh, well, I guess I should start first before we give Bob and Noel and everybody a chance. My name is Brian Green. I work for the Nature Conservancy and for the Adirondack Park Invasive Plant Program. I am the program director right here. I am looking forward, 2025, the thing I am most looking forward to is when we have our APIP team fully staffed with our full-time staff and our seasonal staff. So that's what I'm looking forward to in 2025. Okay, so if Bob and Noel aren't here, we'll go next is Kelly.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly Carter. I work for the Upper Saranac Foundation. I'm the administrator there, and I am looking forward to, I guess, a successful year.
Thank you, Kelly. Hannah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Hannah Diebel. I am the Aquatic Invasive Species Coordinator for Region 5, New York State DEC. And I think I'm probably most excited about getting back out on the boat.
Tom.
I needed to unmute. Tom Dooley, AKA Sean Kittle, Gull Pond Owners Association, Invasive Species Committee. I think the thing I'm looking forward to this year is, again, not finding any invasive species, but we'll see. So,
Thanks, Tom. Next is Joe. And if Joe isn't here, we'll go to Ari.
Good morning, Ari Giller-Linewell. I am the Terrestrial Invasive Species Manager with APIP. Happy to have joined the team last April. Something I am looking forward to this season that I wasn't able to do last season is get out on a canoe or kayak. Yeah, good to see everybody.
We can get you out on the canoe or kayak this year, Ari. Penny.
Penny Gould, we're at Hadlock. This is my husband, Bill. We are the committee for the invasive weeds on Hadlock. We have a couple new people that are volunteering to go out on the lake with us this year, so hopefully we'll be better at doing what we're supposed to do.
Well, you've done a great job for many years, Penny, so don't sell yourself short. Thanks for
Thank you.
joining us.
Thanks, Brian.
Teresa. Teresa's not on. We'll go to Marcus. Marcus said he might be coming a little bit late to the meeting to me. Do we have Ken here? Kenneth? Right, I'll go to Walter. I saw Walter earlier.
Yes, Walter Hogan. I'm the Director of Invasive Species for the town of Caroga. I'm hoping for a continuation this year. We used Priscillacor last year and had a very successful outcome, and we still have some additional areas that need treatment, so we're trying to get it into the budget so we can do that this summer, which will be a great thing if we can pull that off.
Thanks for joining today, Walter. Mary. And if Mary's not on, we'll go
Oh,
to
Mary
David.
is on, but she's
Oh.
muted. I see her there.
Hi, I'll try again. I am the president of the Chateauguay Lake Foundation, and we're looking forward to our 18th year of aquatic invasive species control in 2025. And our main focus is Eurasian water milfoil. And we had a very successful first ever application of Priscillacor EC last season. So we're hoping to continue with our integrated program of Priscillacor treatment and hand harvesting. Thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate Mary and Walter. They definitely have stepped up and done a lot, worked with APIP a lot for not just the management, but also some of the monitoring. So we'll be doing some more of that this summer.
Yes.
David. Now here, this is gonna be a tough one. We're gonna go with the real Sean Kittle.
Everybody all at once. Yeah, I'm Sean Kittle, the communications manager here at APIP. On a personal note, I'm looking forward to this summer because our son Cormac should be old enough, or he should be walking by then. So I'm really excited to get him out, stumbling down the trails and whatnot. He'll be a year old in about a month. And then on a work-related note, I'm really excited just for some of the new communications initiatives that we have coming up. There's too many to get into, but I think we're going to do a lot of really fun things to kind of broaden our reach and enhance our communications efforts this year. So I'm really excited to be a part of that.
Yes, lots of great things. So stay tuned to this channel. Carolyn.
Hi everyone, my name's Carolyn. I am the new-ish conservation and GIS analyst for APIP. So if we haven't met before, I'm looking forward to working together. Something I'm looking forward to this year is I joined APIP in September, so I haven't actually spent a field season with APIP yet. So I'm looking forward to getting to visit some of these beautiful places that I crunch all the data for.
All right, Kate.
Hey everyone, Kate Kuklinski with the DEC. I work out of the Warrensburg office and I'm a land manager locally, specific to Lake George.
Kathy. And if Kathy's not on, we'll go to Austin.
He's out sick.
Austin's out sick. Brett, you want to take his place? You can be.
Sure, I'll jump in. Brett Wimsat, Director for the Stewardship Program at Pulse Miss College, AWI. Looking forward to, I guess on a personal note, probably looking most forward to taking 4 Pulse Miss students down to Kentucky Lake at the end of March for a Major League Bass Fishing Tournament. And on a work-related note, I guess they're both kind of work, but for Pulse Miss, really looking forward to continuing our hiring push. We're in a really good spot right now. We have a lot of applicants and we're looking at having a full roster by the start of the season, which is obviously always the goal, but I think we're in a lot better spot than we have been in years past. So.
Great. Yep. Scott.
Hi, I'm Scott McMillan. I'm a volunteer with the Lake Pleasant Sacandaga Association in Hamilton County, and I'm part of the ecology committee. We're responsible for the water quality monitoring, both CSLAP and some other water quality monitoring we do, and of course the aquatic invasives monitoring. We're very proud to say that we do not have invasive plants in our lake, so we're working very, very hard to keep it that way. And then we're also working on a watershed management plan. It's been a 2-year effort for 4 lakes, and we're hoping to get a draft out to the community of that this summer.
Awesome. That'll be a great accomplishment. Yeah, watershed management plans and AIS management plans are really important things to have. John.
Good morning, everyone. John Marino from the IMAP Invasives project team at New York Natural Heritage Program. And I think one thing I'm looking forward to this year is the New York State Invasive Species Expo, which will be in Saratoga Springs, September 14th through 16th. So mark your calendars.
Yeah, great event for there. We're definitely looking forward, and the APIT team will be there and open to the public and all of our partners. So you should plan on putting that on your calendar and coming out to one of the days. Great talks and great exhibits and field trips and things. Kathy.
Hi, I'm Kathy McLean. I'm the AIS coordinator for New York State DEC. And one of the things I'm looking forward to, because John sort of took my thunder away, is the Northeast Aquatic Plant Management Plant Camp in Maine. That'll be taking place September 2nd through 4th. And it'll be a great opportunity to see some natives that I never get to see.
Yeah, highly recommend Plant Camp. I went to the ones a couple years ago. It's a great opportunity to learn species, but then also just connect with a lot of different professionals. So yeah, being in Maine would be a pretty nice. Let's see. William.
Yes, good morning. I'm the coordinator for the Schroon Lake Aquatic Invasive Scout Program.
Thank you for joining us, William. Amy?
Hi, my name is Amy McLean. I'm with New York State DOT. I am helping out with the Spotter Land and Fly program and also with planning for the Invasive Species Council Expo for the September too.
Thank you. Ev?
Yeah, good morning. Ev McNeil, East Shore Schroon Lake Association. Work with Bill McKeon on aquatic invasives. Brian, I saw your picture of Saranac Lake, and I'm glad I'm down here in Sarasota, Florida at the moment. Sorry. To date, we believe we still have only 2 AIS in Schroon Lake. But in the last year or so, we got a little challenge using your eDNA. We're not sure what kind of milfoil we have at the moment. It's a hybrid or whatever. So looking forward, we're trying to figure out really what we do have in Schroon. The past few years, our harvests have been manual harvest has been averaging 750 pounds a year, and that's down considerably from when we started 20 years ago.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of long, hard work by the lake associations in Schroon Lake. Liz.
I'm Liz Metzger. I'm a research associate with the Osceola Freshwater Center. Right now, I'd say I'm just excited for it to get warmer so I can get out of the office and back into the field. And I also just wanted to give our new stewardship manager, Marky, a moment to say hi if she wants to here, since we forgot to register, so she's not on the list.
Hi, I'm Marquis Moffett. Thanks for fixing my name, whoever did that. I am new to Osceola Freshwater Center. I'm the stewardship manager. I started in mid-December, and I'm just really looking forward to getting to know this community better and learning from all of you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining the community. Guy.
Guy Middleton. I'm the executive director of the Upper Saranac Foundation, and I'm sorry, Liz, but I'm looking forward to winter staying around longer so we can enjoy the snow.
Yes, Team Winter. Be on the Groundhogs team. Meg.
Morning, everyone. Happy to be in the Lake Champlain watershed, and I love the snow. So in the short term, I'm excited for the first substantial snowstorm that we may receive this weekend. This year, I'm very hopeful and excited to get going on the phase 2 Champlain Canal barrier feasibility study for aquatic invasive species. And I am the AIS management coordinator at the Lake Champlain Basin program.
Thank you, Meg. Kate. Sue.
Hi, everyone. Sue O'Reilly, Operations Manager for the Stewardship Program at Paul Smith College's Adirondack Watershed Institute. And like Brett, I'm looking forward to another successful steward season.
Rosemary.
This is my first meeting with all of you. I represent Solo Lake, Snowbird Lake Association in Forestport. I'm their the board of directors secretary. And we've just created a lake committee, so we're very new at this endeavor and trying to identify what's growing in the lake, whether it's native or invasive. Thus far, I hear we do not have any invasives. We do have natives that are going crazy, in particular pickerel weed. So we're here to learn and find out what we can do and keep our eye open for invasives. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Rosemary. Paul.
Hello, I also represent Snowbird Lake, just outside of Forestport, very close to the boundary of the Adirondack Blue Line. I'm a past president of the association, and currently I chair the new committee that we formed on lake preservation and management. And this year we hope to do a complete survey of the lake. As Rosemary mentioned, we have a lot of native plants that are overtaking us. And also hope to learn more about the recent DEC regulations that went into effect on the 1st of January and how they affect us in our operations. So that's it.
Thank you, Paul. Liz. Liz Reed is not here. We'll go to Ronan. And then Susan Smith. Jim's here.
Jim Townsend, I'm the Senior Advisor and Counsel to the Adirondack Landowners Association. We're looking forward to our spring conference, which will have a module. Brian, I hope will still participate, and TNC is co-sponsoring on managing our private lands while protecting the land and looking into the future.
Thank you, Jim. Emily. Aaron.
Hi, everyone. I'm Erin Benny Valrath. I work with the New York State DEC as the Lake Champlain coordinator. I guess I'm on the team where I am sick of shoveling my driveway, so I'm ready for snow to be done.
Anna.
Hi, everyone. My name's Anna. I am new at the Lake Champlain Basin program, so just listening in today for my own learning. I'm very much in winter mode still, so excited for some more fresh snow. Sorry, Aaron.
It's all about how you deal with it. Skiing, shoveling, you know. At the end of the day, you're outside. Beth.
Hi, Beth Whitmore Stoller. I'm also from New York State DC Region 5. I'm the Aquatic Invasive Species Outreach Specialist. I'm looking forward to all of the AIS identification workshops that I have lined up for the next couple of months, starting next month in March. So
Yes, we're looking forward to the ones that are in our Adirondack region too.
I got 11 libraries in the region.
There you go. Well, we got to make sure we coordinate. We can cross promote and share those dates, and we'll be out to some of those too.
Awesome.
David.
Can you hear me?
You're a little bit faint, but I can hear you now, David.
Okay. I'm with the Pasico Lake Association. We don't have any invasive plants at this point, which is great. We do have spiny water flea. Not sure how that's going to affect our population of plankton. So we started a plankton study last year. We'll be doing photo and the other planktons and looking at those levels. We don't have any invasive plants, but we do have a problem with Juncus militaris, which is being spread by the Canadian geese. It's changed some beaches from beaches into mud piles because of the accumulation of dead Juncus militaris from the previous year. So that's something that we have to also work on. But we're working on the lake, and actually Walter Hogan, who was a speaker who's in this, gave a presentation last year at our meeting, one of our meetings, and he talked about how they're dealing with invasive plants in Caroga Lake area. And we thought that was very good, and it's good to be sharing that with other organizations. So we like to continue doing that and hope we learned something today and sharing with the rest of the group.
Yeah, it's always great when we can learn from each other and share from them. I saw a couple other people come in that maybe weren't on the registration list. Stephen Pearson.
Good morning, all. Stephen Pearson. I'm a research scientist with the New York State DC, working out of Albany. I work statewide on aquatic issues, so I'm looking forward to working with any of the folks up in APIP that we're working on projects with. And on a personal note, I'm hoping to do a somersault this year. Thank you.
I saw Kathy Welch pop in there.
Hi, everybody. Sorry I was late.
freezing rain down here in Saratoga Springs meant my class was canceled for today that I was supposed to teach, so I was able to jump on here. Chateauguay Lake, I do the lake management tracker survey.
Awesome. Great. Thank you for joining us, Kathy. Anyone else who did not get a chance to introduce themselves and wants to?
Hi, I'm Lou DiCunzo. I'm on the Invasive Species Committee at Peck's Lake in Fulton County, Southern Adirondacks. We did a GPS survey. We have variable leaf milfoil. We did a GPS survey of 3 bays on our lake last year, and I'm looking forward to getting out and doing that again this summer to see how that's changed over the course of a year.
Yeah, it's great to have Peck's Lake last year in 2024. We had 3 new lake associations participate in lake management trackers, so great to have them.
Katie Wickovitz with Hamilton County Soil and Water. I am enjoying the snow and not necessarily looking forward to it melting or anything. Although I'm excited for the spring season and getting out on the lakes again too.
Hi, Steve Young with the Adirondack Botanical Society, and we are a partner with APIP, and also we help people identify and learn about plants of the Adirondacks, terrestrial and aquatic. And we're having a meeting in March to figure out what we're going to do this year. And I'm looking forward to getting out in my new hornbeck canoe in some of the lakes up there.
Awesome. Great. Yeah, if you haven't been on one of the field trips of the Adirondack Botanical Society, highly recommend. Very fun and educational things.
Joe Gensheimer, can you hear me?
Yeah, as you can hear, Joe, you can go.
Okay, Joe Gensheimer, I'm on the with Brant Lake Association milfoil committee, and as you know, we treated with Chris Elicor last year, and we're very, very pleased with the results after years of mats and hand harvesting.
Thank you, Joe. All right. Well, if that is everyone, that I hope there's a great chance to go around. You can see there is a wealth of experience and knowledge, and people all across the Adirondacks, people calling in from outside the Adirondacks. So, one of the things that I am most proud of is that we have this great community here in the Adirondacks where people are really concerned about our aquatic resources, and they will do a lot to step up and work with all the professionals and partner organizations. We are very lucky in the Adirondacks. We probably have more aquatic invasive species resources than anywhere else on the East Coast. So even though some of these challenges are very difficult, you have a lot of resources, and there's a lot of people that you can come to, including APIP and some of these other professionals around here. So thank you all for attending. We'll send out an email afterwards with a link to the meeting recording. We'll also include, there were some other people who couldn't make it that sent me some bulleted updates, so we'll share some of those. We'll share links to some of the resources and things that we talk about. So look for that in a couple days. Yeah, and so now we're going to go through, we have some set time first to talk with like our public partners and agencies first, and they'll share some kind of updates, and then we'll open it up to everybody on there to kind of share any updates or questions that they have. So we're going to go through in alphabetical order, and that starts with me, the Adirondack Park Invasive Plant Program. So for those people who are new on here, we work for the Nature Conservancies. We are fortunate to be the host of the Adirondack PRISM, and that stands for Partnerships in Regional Invasive Species Management. We get our funding from the New York State DEC through the Environmental Protection Fund, and that is what allows us to help coordinate and collaborate with everybody to help reduce the negative impacts of invasive species on our lands, waters, and communities. So we're happy to be here and talking about all the great things that are going to come up in 2025, but just a quick throwback reminder, our 2024 annual report will come out next week. So we're excited to share all the great work that our APIP staff and with our partners did. And if you haven't already done so, please submit data to our APIP partner dashboard. You can contact me if for some reason you didn't get an email about that, but this is where we're able to sum up all the great work that's done across the PRISM. There's 6.6 million acres. We have 4.7 staff. We cannot do it all. We really depend on you to partner with us and help do the monitoring and the management and the education. And we want to sum up and show all the great work that's done by everybody. So this is how we do it. It's by people filling out our partner dashboard. It's an online form. Generally takes like 3 to 5 minutes to fill out. And I'm happy to walk you through this if you have any issues. Here's a chart showing the number of surveys in the dark blue color, and then the number of water bodies or lakes monitored. So you can see that 2024 had a slightly lower number than 23 or 22. So we're going to need everybody to help out in 2025 so we can get this number to bump back up and have more people out looking on lakes and streams and wetlands and reporting it to us so we can keep that great database that we maintain about where invasive species are and are not. So this upcoming summer, we will continue our monitoring programs. The two largest monitoring programs that we run, our first one is called Lake Protectors. This is our early detection program. Many of the people on this call have participated in it. We teach people how to identify 16 species, 8 plants, and 8 animals, and then they adopt a local water body, a pond, a lake. If it's a big lake, maybe they only do a portion of the lake, or a stream or a wetland, and they go out and they do a survey at least once between July and September, and then they report back what they see or they don't see to us. And that's where we're able to keep track of everything's going on, with the real goal of trying to find early detections, new species that were not previously known to the water body. Because if we find something early, we have a much better chance of being able to manage it successfully and also at a much lower cost. So we will have a virtual lake protectors training in June. We will have in-person trainings in July and in August. So these are great things where you can come out to. You get to see all the different species, get some hands-on examples with them, and help you with trying to better be able to identify the invasives, but also learn about some of the natives, especially some of the native lookalikes that you might get confused with. The other program, as already mentioned before, is Lake Management Tracker. We have several people on here that have participated in it for years. It is our program that is designed to help communities who are doing management on invasive plants. Most of these communities are doing management on invasive milfoils like Eurasian water milfoil or variable leaf milfoil. And it is a modified point intercept tracking methodology where we set points that you go out into a lake or into a bay, and you go to the same place around the same time of the year and you ask the same question, and that's allows us to kind of track change over time. Ideally, we would like to see that the amount of milfoil or the number of locations with milfoil is decreasing because of the management. And we provide dashboards and reports for this, so it helps you get more information. We're having a little bit of delay because of a staffing issue with our 2024 reports, but we will make sure we get those out to everybody from who participated last year. But there is an online dashboard that anybody can log in and they can go see those results. And we have some projects that we're doing, some research projects where we're trying to increase our knowledge about how to better manage or understand what is going on with invasive plants. One of them is with the Lake Champlain boat launch removal. I've talked about this at a couple of recent talks. We decided that we're going to give it one more year and continue to do management at 3 boat launches and working with the Paul Smith College AWI and the boat sewers to look at, are we able to reduce the spread of Eurasian water milfoil from those boat launches? We've also been doing some eDNA monitoring over the past several years. And this year, we're looking at a project that will compare different laboratory methodologies. We're trying to see what's the best way and the best tool we can use to identify invasive plants. So hopefully we'll be able to learn some best practices for that, and then maybe this can be a tool that your community can put into your toolbox. And then also we will continue our second year of collecting water quality samples for milfoil management. We get questions from people about, hey, how does managing milfoil, whether that's hand harvesting or diver assisted suction harvesting or using chemical, how does that impact water quality? So we've been started a project last year working again with Paul Smith College and the Adirondack Lakes Assessment Program, ALAP. Also with a program of Protect the Adirondacks, and several of our lake associations were already in that, and we're doing management of milfoil. So lake associations like East Caroga and Racket Lake, Chattagay Lake, Chazy Lake, and Paradox Lake. So working with them to collect water quality samples so we can have more information about potentially understanding potential impacts for water quality changes with managing milfoil. So be on the lookout for, we'll have some more talks and things to kind of share the results of some of these projects coming up. And we definitely appreciate all the local communities who help us out with collecting some of these samples. And as a reminder, if you go to our adkinvasives.com on our resource library, under the maps link, you can see there's a couple tools that might be useful for you as you're planning your work ahead. Maybe we can have one of our other APIP staff throw that link in here. The picture on the left is what we call our AIS vulnerability predictor. So it was a model where we took all the data that we've been collecting and used it to predict which areas in the lake were most likely to be invaded by invasive plants. So it kind of creates these color codes of showing different areas that are maybe more likely to be invaded and some that are less likely to be invaded. So it might help you when you're out, especially on big water bodies. Where do I need to spend a little bit more time? Where do I need to do more rake tosses? Maybe where should I be collecting eDNA samples from? This could be a tool that could help you answer those questions. So that's a photo on the left with all those little multicolored boxes on there. And then the photo on the right is our new Adirondack Aquatic Invasive Species database. So this is combining all the IMAP data that we've been collecting, that our partners have been collecting, along with all the surveys that people have given us, so that we can show which lakes have been monitored, which lakes are invaded, and which species out of those 16 species that we track. So you here, as an example, you can see 3 ponds that are colored different. The blue pond means that there's no known invasives, and the 16 we track. The yellow one means that there's 1 species. The red one means that there are two species, so they're kind of color coded, so you can see there's more. And then you can see these small gray ponds on here that are gray, which means we don't have any information. No one's ever gone out and surveyed them and reported it to us. So this is a useful place where you want to see not only what invasive species are in your lake, but you can kind of see what's around you, because the more invaded water bodies are around you and the closer you are to them, the higher risk you are at. And so the more efforts you want to put into prevention for them. So all these tools are available on our website right now. You can log in there and we'll send out the link in the email to them. And last but not least, APIP is hiring an aquatic invasive species manager. So hopefully tomorrow, by tomorrow or sometime soon, this will go live on our TNC careers page. So if you want to join this great group of community and our great Nature Conservancy team here at APIP and help us do cool projects and help the Adirondacks, you can apply for this position, or you can reach out to me if you have any questions. So with that, that's my APIP update, and we will go next to DEC. And I just wanted to put in a plug that part of our DEC funding goes towards our boat steward program, as Brett said, we're in the midst of hiring. Doesn't matter where you are in New York, there's probably a job opening as a boat steward. So, if you know somebody who is interested in helping with that front line of prevention, a really important job, please, reach out to one of us or to some of your local contacts, and we can get you connected. So with that, I think we're going to have a series of people from the DEC give some updates about things that are going on in the Adirondacks right now. So I'll pass it to whoever wants to go first from DEC.
I'm happy to go because I need to leave at 11. Sorry, Brian.
That's okay. Go.
Okay. So it's a long list. I'll go fast. So we're working, I'm going to give you some statewide update because they will have impacts on the Adirondacks potentially. So we're working with Department of Health, New Jersey DEP, and Water Supply Authority, as well as University of Georgia Athens, to develop a rapid field test for the toxins and statins produced by Actocyanose hydrolicola, which is the epiphytic cyanobacteria that is often associated with hydrilla and is responsible for producing toxins that develop as vacuolar myelinopathy in vertebrates. So that's a nice project to start working on. And we'll also be looking at the genetics of the New York version of hydrolicola because it doesn't appear to be the same as the US, southeastern US portion of the hydrolicola, so it may be a different species. We're looking into that. For New York State, we're slowly starting to work on an aquatic plant guide, which may take a few years, but we will get there. We're updating the AIS management plan, which will also take a few years, hopefully wrapping up the New York State Hydrilla Management Plan. Region 7 and the Hudson River Region 3 area are working on water chestnut management plans, which hopefully can be turned into a water chestnut management plan for the state. We've got our Region 1 coordinator working on a mini harvester prototype that will look at harvesting for water chestnut and be used by volunteers, so we can share the updates from that. And I just want to put in a plug for the Northeast Aquatic Plant Management Society again, that they gave our coordinator Carlos Morante Cervizo scholarship to develop this prototype. So thank you very much to them. And then we also have our Region 6 coordinator working on waterfowl, studying the waterfowl and their ability to transport aquatic invasive plants between sites. So that research will start this summer, as well as working on manuscripts, looking at an overview of the WISP program, which has already been submitted. We're waiting to hear back. And then a manuscript on the analysis of long-term data in the Hudson and Croton Rivers pre and post-treatment, which is where we treated hydrilla up until 2022 in the Croton River. So we're just looking at the recovery of native communities post-treatment and seeing how that is working out. So those are a number of things that I wanted to mention. I also, since Steve is here, I'm going to turn it over to him to talk about the eDNA aspect of things. So thanks.
All right, well, thanks, Kathy. So just from a statewide eDNA perspective and of interest to the Adirondack region, we've been tracking northern snakehead in the Delaware Basin and its potential vector through a canal system into the Hudson. So we have a barrier in place along the D&H Canal that's designed to prevent, movement through the canal between the Delaware Basin and the Hudson Basin. Currently, as of late summer 2024, northern snakehead were documented in the east and the west branches of the Delaware and the upper Delaware, and along the main stem, as well as within the Basha Kill WMA, which is directly adjacent to this canal system that connects the Hudson. As we all know, if species makes it to the Hudson, it has a connectivity to the Adirondacks and elsewhere, the rest of the state through the canal system. Additionally to that, we've been tracking Round Goby in the lower Hudson. As it's moving, Hannah is here and she'll give an update on Round Goby in the Champlain Canal momentarily. Brian mentioned the multiplex eDNA survey that's been going on in the Adirondacks. That's a tool that's developed and available from Cornell University, and it's being used all along the Erie Canal, the Champlain Canal, and the lower Hudson, as well as a few other locations in the state. So yeah, so then I guess I'll pass it off to Hannah for a more local, regionalized perspective. Thanks.
Thanks, Steve. I'll be hiring a seasonal technician that is not posted yet, but it will be posted on the Cornell website and wherever else they decide to post it, but I can circulate that amongst the group as well. It's a seasonal aquatic invasive species technician. Round Goby. We will be continuing to monitor the invasion front in the upper Hudson this year. We have yet to observe round Goby upstream of Loch C1 in Waterford, despite the 2 positive eDNA detections immediately upstream of Loch C2 in Mechanicville. The last of those was a sample collected at the beginning of August, and we have since sampled several times in September, October, and I think December, and all of those samples tested negative for round Goby DNA. We had a very large effort for eDNA sample collection at the northern end of Lake Champlain up in the Rouse's Point area. This was done by USGS and Vermont Fish, or no, it's not USGS, US Fish and Wildlife and Vermont Fish and Wildlife. It was a very large effort with around 100 samples collected, eDNA samples collected. Those all came back negative, which was nice to hear. But I imagine we'll be discussing in the upcoming weeks what our plans are for Lake Champlain, maybe potential additional sampling, but that has been yet to be determined. Meg might speak to this a bit, but our plans for what we're going to do with Corbicula in Lake Champlain are also to be determined. We found Corbicula in South Bay of Lake Champlain in late October. So it was at the end of the season, so wasn't too much to do about that. So we'll be meeting in the next few weeks to come up with a game plan. More updates to come on that. Let's see. Other than that, we do have some water bodies for monitoring on our list at Brian's suggestion. So hopefully we'll be getting out into the Adirondacks to monitor some water bodies for AIS this year. So I think that's it. I don't know who wants to go next, either Beth or Aaron. Is that?
I can jump in for
Okay.
just talking a little bit about the water chestnut harvesting work that goes on for Lake Champlain. So with the coordination of Meg Motley at the Lake Champlain Basin program and Vermont DEC, there's a large effort to do both harvesting in the southern end of the lake with big aquatic plant harvesters for water chestnut. And then also Vermont leads up a lot of hand harvesting throughout the kind of northern edge of the southern part of the lake. We also have a few patches of water chestnut that have popped up in streams. So thinking of there was a relatively newly found infestation of water chestnut near Plattsburgh. So we do a little bit of hand harvesting up there, and we'll likely have some opportunities to do some hand harvesting in that Plattsburgh area this summer. If anybody wants to get out and get their hands dirty, we'll be looking for volunteers probably this summer to help with that. And with that, I'll pass it over to Beth to update on her trainings.
Hello, I'm going to try and put the link to the page in the chat because there's a lot of them. So there's a link in the chat to the Lake Champlain Basin program has a site put up with a list of all the libraries and all the dates of these trainings. I have 11 libraries in the APIP region that have signed up to have these workshops. So each library is going to have 2 workshops on different dates and times. 1 workshop dedicated to aquatic invasive plants, how to identify them, and then once you do think you have them, how to report them. And then also information about, any upcoming like water chestnut pulls or any other informational like workshops that people are organizing that would be good for that people in that region. I'll be advertising as well. So if you have anything coming up in APIP that you would like me to tell other people, please let me know. And the second one is all on aquatic invasive animals. So we have one for just plants and one for just animals for people to come to. And like I said, there's 11 libraries, so that's 22 workshops set up for the APIP region.
All right, that is great information. Yes, Beth, we will get some information to you that you can share, and also we will put those dates on our event page and calendar so people can be aware of it. And yeah, I look forward to coming out to a couple of them myself. All right. Next, we will go to the Lake Champlain Basin program, and I think Meg is going to provide an update.
Hi, everyone. I feel like we're drinking from a fire hose, and it's good. We've got a lot of invasive species stuff going on. So I will start by addressing our elephant in the room, which is we are 100% federally funded, and we have been experiencing federal funding freezes and unfreezes that affect our partners directly. Luckily, we are back on track, and all of our funding sources are back to business as usual for now, but we do have funding from the Environmental Protection Agency, the Great Lakes Fishery Commission, National Park Service, and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. So we have different funding streams that get affected in different ways, but luckily we're back on track. So I just wanted to put that out there to anybody who's working with us on projects. I know a number of you are. Anna just joined our team. She introduced herself at the beginning of the meeting. She's going to be helping us work on our grant load execution, getting work plans to contract, getting invoices paid, getting amendments submitted. So Anna's coming to help fill a void. The void will fill the void and help us get our grants load back on track. For our invasive species updates, we are looking forward to the 2025 boat launch steward field season. Similar to AWI, we do have a high return rate this year, and we're in the process of evaluating applications and getting ready to cover the northern side of Lake Champlain in New York, the Missisquoi Bay in Quebec, and the Vermont side of the lake. We also help support a lot of local lake associations and other organizations through our grants programming to do purchases of watercraft decontamination units, support of boat launch stewards at different lake associations, and other survey monitoring and management efforts. So for our response, we are working on responses to the round goby. As you've heard from New York DEC and others, we're working with our partners in Quebec to look at questions of transport or movement through the Champlain Canal to our north and evaluating those round goby advancements up the Richelieu River, which triggered the response for us to go out and take the 100 samples that Hannah referred to up at the northern border of Lake Champlain near the Richelieu River that were all negative. U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service will continue to do sampling using eDNA metabarcoding around Lake Champlain in 2025 to look for round goby, grass carp, and a number of other species that we're concerned about. We will continue to fund USGS to do trawling, electrofishing, and eDNA collection, also looking at the goby populations for possible detections of VHS in the Champlain Canal and other points surrounding. That will be the third year, 2023, 4, 5, yes, third year of funding for those data collections with USGS. We are also responding and strategizing about invasive, well, they're grass carp, not the big head, the silver, the black. No, we're talking about grass carp. Some are stocked in New York lakes, and we have seen a few in the Richelieu River. So we're working to source where those carp may have come from, if they're escapees from stocked populations, or if they have come in from other avenues. So that's our second response. And then, as Hannah referred to, we are also evaluating the detection of corbicula or golden clam in the southern end of Lake Champlain. So we'll get back to you on that. For research, we have a number of large projects focused on Eurasian water milfoil hybridization across the watershed, assessments and evaluations of rusty crayfish and other invasive species in major tributaries in New York and Vermont coming into Lake Champlain. More work on American eel, which seems to be having a comeback in Lake Champlain, and its predation upon the invasive sea lamprey. A round goby modeling study for Lake Champlain to identify habitats where they would most likely colonize or be found first. As you know, the Nature Conservancy and Brian wrapped up one of our research projects evaluating control of invasives at boat launches, coupled with the data from AWI's Boat Launch Steward program, and that's been shared already. We're also doing some native mussel research, looking at colonization of those mussels by invasive zebra mussels, and a water chestnut harvesting bycatch study is also underway. So we have a lot of research, a lot of implementation, and a lot of rapid response work going on across the watershed.
Thank you, Meg, for those updates. We're very lucky to have all the great resources that the Lake Champlain Basin program provides for our Adirondack PRISM. So yeah, great, a lot of great things, and definitely check out their websites for upcoming funding opportunities, but also like the State of the Lake report is a great resource that came out last year. So thank you. Next, we will go to the Natural Heritage Program. John.
Yeah, hello everyone. So I work on the IMAP Invasives project team at Natural Heritage, and we are tasked with administering statewide AIS database that holds data for presence not detected surveys and treatment and management data, as well as supporting some derivative analysis with the data. And we also help administer the WISP database that AWI and Lake Champlain, Lake George, and others contribute to. So we're wrapping up 2024 data. Thank you to everyone who has submitted data to IMAP or to the WISP program. We have published a 2024 annual report summary. I'll put a whole bunch of links into the chat. And at this point, we're primarily preparing for this upcoming field season. Another thing I'll mention we will be working on this winter is an analysis looking at the watercraft data compared to the known AIS distributions within IMAP to look for any potential opportunities for early detection that are indicated by watercraft exiting water bodies with invasive species that are not known to be in those bodies of water. So stay tuned for that in the next month or two. So for this upcoming field season, we're just preparing the various field data collection tools we have, as well as working to bulk load any data. So if by any chance you're collecting data that isn't already directly going into IMAP or through one of the tools Brian mentioned, feel free to reach out to us, and we would be interested in potentially incorporating that into our database. Two other resources I'll just mention briefly. One is a prototype for a water body lookup tool that we are looking to have a basic interface to just display known AIS by water body. And so again, it's sort of a prototype, but I can put a link to it and you can explore and see if it lines up with the known AIS for your particular water body of interest. Additionally, we also maintain an AIS prioritization tool that is a product from the spatial ecologist staff at Natural Heritage Program. And it's an interactive tool to help prioritize management of AIS at the water body scale. So it's sort of a little bit more of a macro level view compared with the tool Brian was showing. But it uses a lot of different parameters that may be of interest to explore what those values are for any particular water body of interest. So I'll also share a link to that as well. So that's pretty much it. Feel free to reach out if we could be of any assistance in terms of data collection or analysis and that sort of thing. So thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks, John. We're very lucky here in New York to have the New York Natural Heritage Program and the IMAP team working on this. It's a great resource. Go to newyorkimapinvasives.org, and there's lots of trainings and things on there. If you need help with IMAP, APIP staff can provide trainings on how to use some of the platforms and get the information in there. So yeah, really, really great stuff, and we really appreciate all the great resources that they also provide. So we'll just take a quick pause before we open it up to the group. If anybody had any specific questions that they wanted to follow up with for some of the people who just presented, you can write those into the chat. I see there's already been some questions that have been answered, or you can come off mute and ask them.
This is Walter. I just wonder if there's anybody out there on the Caroga Lakes now. We've done well with the Priscilla core, and we'll continue, but we're moving into what we're calling an early identification and rapid removal phase. And I'm wondering what people are using out there from a technology point of view, sonars and underwater cameras and so on, to make rapid identification of the different types of species that are in the lakes.
So maybe I'll just start, Walter, by saying that sonar is a great tool that shows where macrophytes are present, but is not species specific. And so it often needs to be coupled with some kind of field assessment to look at pulling up the plants and seeing what species are actually there. Some people can use sonar effectively if they know which beds are, the target species, and then they get before and after. But I think that is one of the challenges with the sonar data, and I'll leave it to other partners to share their thoughts.
I'll chime in with a couple things. And we have both Hannah and Stephen on here. So the eDNA is a good tool for early detection. It's the current state of where it is seems to be a much better tool for detection of animals than of plant species. So that's part of the research that we've been working on to try to figure out, hey, how can we better use the tool? But for animal species, it does seem to be can get you really early detections when populations are at low levels, which is the goal of early detection. And then I'll just tell another quick story about, while we have all these tools, sonar, we're getting some satellite stuff, we're getting eDNA. I am becoming more and more a believer that still the best thing that you can have is just have your local people who live on the lake or visit the lake. If you can have them go out and monitor. So there was one lake association that we've been working with for years, very engaged, very concerned about keeping invasives out. They take part in our lake management tracker program. They've been taking part in that for years. They paid a professional crew to come out and do a survey this past summer. They even had me come out and look at like one area for some suspected milfoils, and it just happened that there was a person on their lake who knew what Eurasian water milfoil was like and was out there fishing and just saw a small, 10-foot by 5-foot patch of it. And so a true early detection, finding it very early. They have been doing multiple things for years, and it just was a person that knew what it is and happened to find it. And we were able to work closely with them to get some divers out there. I think they've removed like 18 pounds of it. So finding some of these needles in the haystacks is hard, and I'm a big believer that the more eyes you have on the water, the better.
Walter, this is Joe Gensheimer. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So we're at Brant Lake, and we treated with Priscilla Coriat last year. It was very successful, but of course we're concerned about it coming back. And the only thing that we were able to find that really makes sense is, as Brian just mentioned, have your people around the lake look for it. But also we hire a company called Aqualogic to actually dive and look for it, because we've had it for a number of years. We love our little lake, and we want to make sure it doesn't come back. So we unfortunately continue to have to use manual diving to locate it. But so far, no magic bullet that we found to locate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, there, as Joe said, there is no magic. There's no magic wand. There's no silver bullet. I heard somebody once describe it. It's supposed to be a silver buckshot. You're trying to use a lot of different tools and a lot of different approaches. And at APIP, we are strong believers in integrated plant management. You will have to do a series of different management tools, whether that be chemical management, biological management, mechanical management, and it's about figuring out what the best tool is at the best time, at the best location. APIP is a big proponent of working with lake associations, communities to come up with what we call AIS adaptive management plans, because you're going to be going through these cycles of what is your goal, what's your plan that you're going to implement? How are you going to monitor it? And then how are you going to use that information to adjust your management over time?
Yeah. I mean, the history of our lakes, before I took it over, which was 3 years ago, 30-year history of the DASH program. And after the Priscilla Core application, we've been able now to cut our diving team in half, and that saves us about $30,000 in expenses this summer. And our plan is to essentially use the divers to pretty much scour the lake, because the lakes, the two West and East Grove, as much as they can. Excuse me, with visual, observations, since we already have the harvester and the dive and all of that. But still would like to continue to even throttle that program back, as long as we're going to be able to manage the milfoil now. And that would be, like I say, whether it's a camera or whether it's sonar, whatever, so we can get it down to 1 or 2 people running a boat continually up and down just to look for it.
Yeah, well, thanks for bringing that up, Walter. Anybody else have any questions for our first people who presented? If we don't have any specific question, this is a time to, if anybody wants to share some group discussions, what projects do you have planned for 2025? How can we collaborate and work together? So you can either raise your hand virtually or come off mute and ask your question or share what's going on.
Yeah, this is Tom Dooley, called Pond, and we don't have a boat launch or anything, so it's just pretty much the homeowners and who they rent to. And we've been trying to educate people, and we have on our website the invasive species, et cetera. But we've been thinking that it might be easier to get people so they can identify the plants that should be there, and then flag it to us when they see something that isn't on that list. And I was wondering if anybody else had gone that route, if they have some suggestions of how to educate and get people interested. It's not as exciting finding a loon or a beaver in the lake, looking at the plants. So we're trying to figure out how to get people to understand what's out there and then flag it when it's something different.
Yeah, hi, this is Dave Wilson from Pasico Lake.
Mm-hmm.
And about 5 years ago, we contracted with Utica University to come up and do a survey of our lake and identify all the plants in the lake, and then to make a publication of that. And they actually had a course that they provided for the students to participate in that. Within 9 months, we received a book that they had identified 97 different aquatic plants in the lake. And we received a book, which is about 40 pages long. It has a colored photograph of each plant and a little bit of the history of the plant. So we made 400 copies of that for our lake organization and distribute. Yep, there, Brian is showing the book. We distributed that to the people around the lake, that they could then use that as a reference source to identify any plants that they may find, and they have a question about what they are. So it's a great resource, and it took a little bit of effort, but it turned out a really great product.
Thanks.
Hi, David, this is Ev McNeil. Quick question. What did that cost? And did it also include animals in addition to aquatic plants?
No, it was just for the plants. That's the only concern we had with the plants. The cost was $300 or $400, something like that. It wasn't much at all. And the professor did that with in fact, I don't think he charged us anything. It was mainly just for the printing of the book.
Okay, and that included the entire lake? You said Pasico, right?
Yeah, Pasico. What we did, we surveyed the lake. Our lake is about 6.5 miles long, 2 miles wide. And we chose, I believe, 10 locations around the lake where we knew that there was accumulations of aquatic plants. We use that as an area to start. So we surveyed those areas over a 3-month time period, spending time at each location. And then Dave Moore, who was the professor, collected samples. He took back probably 20 pounds of samples each time to his lab and identified them. And so we had that over a time period of the summer, the growing period, in which to collect those samples and identify them. Then he brought the students up in September for them to do some training, plus to do additional looking. And after that, he compiled the data together at the end of the year and then put out the publication, I think March or April of the following year.
Wow, that's pretty good. Great idea.
Yeah, it is.
Hi, this is Marcus Harrison from Canada Lake and the Town of Croga Lakes Management Committee. Just one other strategy we're trying this year is our town has a Lakes Management Committee that's comprised of town officials, folks that work for the town like Walter Hogan, and our invasive species steward coordinator. And this year, the Lakes Management Committee through the town is going to send a letter out to all of the residents, encouraging them to, educating them about invasive species, which we've done on an ongoing basis for many years with our program, but encouraging them to get involved in some of the services that each lake association offers to fight invasives. And, there's a recognition, I think, as all of us that are in lake associations know how difficult it is to replenish membership. So it's an opportunity to do that, but to try to get people to get some skin in the game and ownership, and making sure that not only are they aware of the invasive species and on the lookout for them, but they get involved in the steward programs. Last year, we included, as the town passed a law for short-term rentals like VRBO and Airbnb, to include information about the invasive species law and the information that they have to give to guests, to make sure that if they're from out of town with jet skis and so forth coming in, that they're aware of what the rules are, and encourage them to get their boats inspected and deconned. This year, working together with the other lake associations, we're trying to work with one of the local marinas that that has a lot of boat volume down in the Carogas that is really outside of our system at the East Caroga campsite and the Westlake launch, to try to give them some sort of incentive to inspect boats and make sure that they're decon, which they do informally, but to make it more formal, which leads me to a question for the group, is that has anybody had success working with private marinas in terms of what type of incentive you can give them, financial or other, to make sure that boats are inspected and report the information into the system so that's collected, so that we know how many boats are inspected and what the origin and destination of the boats is. So I'll throw that out there as a question. Thanks.
Marcus, on Schroon Lake, we have one marina, and I'm not sure how it developed, but they will not launch boats for anybody other than only the owners that have boats in their marina. So they've just chosen not to launch boats from anywhere. Of course, we do have 2 public launches on the lake also, which probably allows them to do that. But that was completely voluntary on their part. They're just good lake stewards, I guess you would say.
Thanks. Anybody else have any kind of like contracts or agreements with the private marinas?
Marcus,
yeah, I was going to say,
sorry, Meg.
I'll just offer that on Lake Champlain, the marinas are, I don't feel like I have any good advice. They're so busy. It's very difficult. They don't have the staff or the time, and they're racing to just fix boats and get them in and out of the water. So luckily they don't launch a lot from their specific locations, but they utilize a lot of the public launches. So it's a little bit of a rub for us, because they come launch at public launches, test motors, test fixes, and their staff generally are pretty short and not as maybe understanding of the invasive species program. So we're trying to improve our relations, I will say, with marinas and other outfitters that come to the launch sites.
I'll chime in real quick, Marcus. I know that there are some lake associations that have worked with their, local private marinas, and they just kind of have good working relationships with them. I think some have even signed like MOUs trying to get them to make sure they follow, these best practices. I'm aware of some that have purchased like their own hot water decontamination units just for, like, the lake association purchased it and gave it to the marina so that they would use it to decontaminate boats before they put them in. So, hopefully your local community has, the best relationship with them, and you can find a solution that works well for your local community.
Yeah, so this is Guy Middleton from the Upper Saranac Foundation. I don't know if Brian was referring to Upper Saranac Lake, but we did develop an MOU with private boat launches in the watershed. And part of that MOU is that they put out information to their users. There is signage at those launches, and trying to direct them to the public launch where to be inspected prior to getting to the private launches.
Thanks, that sounds great.
Anyone else have any questions or want to share upcoming plans for the season?
Hey, Brian. One thing, I'll just jump in with a plug for positions and jobs. So as I said earlier on, we're in a good spot. We have a lot of applications. We have a lot of offers out, and we'll be doing that for the rest of today and tomorrow. But for those that are in all these communities that we're tied to across the park, we still have a number of positions available. So whether potentially you yourself are interested in a full or part-time job or have connections for these lakes, be super helpful if you could help point folks to PSE AWI for our steward positions. A couple of the areas that we definitely have some known holes in right now are Gray Sacandaga. We're going to have a number of positions down there. The Scroon Lake area, everything from the South Horicon end all the way up towards Paradox. That bubble right there, we probably still have 3, 4 positions, 5 positions that we need to fill there. And then also continuing over to our typical problem child area being the Inlet Old Forge area. So we have a number of positions open over there. So if you have people that may be interested in it, or another way that you could really help out is if you do have any connections for possible housing in these areas, you could also reach out to me. I'll put my email in a chat here in a second. We're always looking for places where we can relocate Paul Smith students to be able to have them work in different regions of the park. So that'd be super helpful. Compensation's gone up this year. Stewarding jobs at non-decon locations are starting at $19 an hour this year, and we're at $20 an hour starting for watercraft decontamination sites. So it's a good little jump there. And then the last one I'm also going to plug is we are still actively recruiting for an executive director of AWI. So in any of your professional networks, yourself or others, if you could continue to spread the word on that, we are going to begin the interview process in the 1st or 2nd week of March. And we're currently reviewing applications, but the position is going to remain open through the interview period. You can, for all of those positions, they can be viewed on the AWI website. So I think potentially Sue may have just shared it below, ADK Watershed Institute, adkwatershed.org/employment. We'll get you to all those opportunities. So great. Well, thank you very much.
Brian, if I just have a minute.
Yes.
Yeah, so kind of piggybacking on Brett is the Upper Saranac Foundation is looking to hire our divers for our dive program that does invasive species management in the Tri-Lakes area. If somebody is interested and is not a certified diver, we do have a program that we certify. We can certify the divers as part of the training process. Our positions start for non-certified divers at $28 an hour, with some cost for them to get certified. So I'll try to put that our information in the chat where you can get a hold of me if you know of anybody who's looking to have good summer employment. Thanks everybody for that. If I got another minute, Brian, I'll just pass on the information that the Upper Saranac Foundation is now requesting that knowing that trailered boats are a primary vector of invasive species spread, we're requesting that the DEC implements their specifically the Saranac Lake Wild Forest Unit Management Plan, which is in line with the State Land Master Plan, the Adirondack State Land Master Plan, which prohibits the launching of trailered boats in non-designated boat launches. So we're trying to push that along to prevent further spread in these non-traditional boat launch locations. And I would suggest that anybody who has non-traditional boat launches in their watershed to reach out to the DEC and try to move this along.
Thanks, Guy, for sharing that.
This is Joe. Oh,
okay, Joe.
right, sorry. This is Joe Gentheimer at Grant Lake Association. I just wanted to say thank you for the program yesterday on the terrestrial invasion species, because as I think one of our members pointed out yesterday, we're very good on the water-based invasive species, but we have a lot of learning to do on the terrestrial one. So thank you so much for that program.
Yeah, you're welcome. And if you did miss that, you can go to our YouTube channel or on our website, and you can watch that. So we're getting close to the end right here. I can stay on afterward if people want to continue the discussion, but just to kind of wrap up, if people need to leave, whether designated end time, uh, the APIP annual report will come out next week. It will include a 4-page highlight and special initiative excerpt in there. Great to show all the work that the APIP staff and our partners are working together to do. Another plug to submit your partner data, and that in May we will have an in-person partner meeting. So planning is underway. That'll be the first full week in May. So hopefully you can come out to that. Our hemlock woolly adelgid forest pest hunters is ongoing right now. You can join us, adopt a trail or a trailhead or an area in the Adirondacks to survey hemlocks for hemlock woolly adelgid. That'll go through the end of March. You can come to adkinvasives.com, click on our volunteer opportunity and see that. We're also going to have a field trip in March, so be on the lookout for that.
It'll be a Saturday, March 8th.
Okay, yep, Saturday, March 8th, so we'll share that. And then on another webinar on March 12th, Saving Lakes Through Engaged Communities, we will be featuring great work that some of our partners like Friends of Moody Pond, Lake Pleasant, Sacandaga Association have done, and having ADK Action there to talk about how do we get communities to work together to tackle environmental challenges. Now, this could be a challenge about on a trail or road salt or pollinator gardens or with your lake community. So you can go to adkinvasives.com/events and you'll be able to RSVP for that. So hopefully you will be able to join us. With that, I want to say thank you for everybody who attended. We'll have a follow-up email and some information that will come out to everyone who was registered and participated on this. And you'll also be able to see this recording on our YouTube channel along with all of our other ones. So if you're new to us, you can go back and see past ones, or you can see webinars or things from our invasive species summit that we held past fall. So a great resource. And yeah, so thank you very much. If you have to leave now, you're more than free to go on with your day and enjoy this winter, or to dream about the upcoming summer when we all get to be out on boats doing a lot of this work. But if you want to stick around and talk some more, I'm available to continue the discussion around aquatic invasive species. Yeah, Steve put a big plug for the